Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Welcome into the CanesInSight Daily Podcast. I'm Peter Ariz. No D Money today, but it's Tuesday, so you know who we got. Ahmmon Richards. Very excited to have him join the show today. Big week. Recap USF a bit, and then, of course, look forward here to the Florida Gators matchup. Of course, as always, this show brought to you by the law offices of Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Dial 1-800-747-FREE. 1-800-747-3733 to take back control of your life with Anajar and Levine. Guys, remember to hit that like and subscribe to the channel. We are here every day. It used to be Monday through Friday, but pretty much Sunday through Monday here, Sunday through Sunday, especially during the season. And we've had a lot of special guests kind of lined up weekly here. And one of those is Ahmmon Richards. Ahmmon, good morning, man. How you feeling?
Morning.
Just us today, so we gotta hold it down. I know, D always kind of sets the tone, but I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, good morning, man. It's exciting, man. I'm excited to be here again. Ready to talk some ball. Good weekend. Looking forward to a very great week.
So, let's just kind of talk USF real quick before we look ahead to Florida. I know the last couple of days we've done that somewhat already, but your overall thoughts on Miami coming out there, pretty efficient offensive performance other than a couple blunders there. But it seems like steps continue to be made in the right direction.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, we look pretty solid on both ends of the ball. And just when you think about a rain delay, I know that was a big question mark, like how will the team respond? Will we come out flat? It almost seems like the perfect trap game, with all the weather, things coming in. But I think we handled it pretty well. There's times where we kind of stalled out a little bit on offense. Obviously the 2 interceptions, which just kind of fluke plays that happened, giving the USF a few more opportunities, to punch. But our defense stood tall, and that's just a great thing about having a balanced team where the offense sometimes can sputter a little bit, but we can rely on our defense to still go out there and get 3 and outs and get us back the ball, get us more opportunities. So that was great to see. I mean, there's really nothing that I can really point at that's just glaring where it's like this needs to get fixed or else. We've just been playing pretty good football overall. There's obviously things to clean up. I think every team in America, if you look at the film, like there's going to be missed blocks or, not a good angle, whatever the case may be. But, so far, so good. So far, so good.
Yeah, you mentioned the 2 interceptions. Shannon Dawson said yesterday the first one was a really good play by the DB. And then the second one, as it's been talked about already, the receivers were kind of close together there. He didn't really say whose fault it was, in terms of who didn't run the right depth of route. It seemed like Malachi maybe because the ball was going to Tony Johnson there. But what did you see on that play?
Yeah, I think it falls on baby Jesus on that one for sure. Based on what I was seeing, it looks like he had some sort of bender because they're on cover 2. So I think he had to break his off a little bit more flatter to hold that safety. And I think he just went a little too vertical and ended up in the passing lane. And that's when you see him jump up damn near 50 inches, tip the ball, but, it happens. He's a young player, right? That's just kind of the things that kind of come with it. But, great talent. I think he, all the plays he's been making, I think he just want to make another big splash play right there.
Yeah.
So I can't blame him.
Wasn't too far off. Wasn't too far off.
You would have caught that, man. Jesus.
Oof. Baby Jesus.
Yeah.
So one thing that I think everyone's noticed, Ahmmon, and Shannon Dawson, he said it before the year, and I don't know that people really believed him because you hear offensive coordinators say, we want to spread the ball around. Everyone's going to touch the ball. We're going to get a lot of people involved. But I think you've seen now Notre Dame, probably a bit tighter of a rotation just because they were really going with who they trusted going out of camp there. But Bethune, you see obviously a lot more. And then the trust seems to continue to grow with not only some of these younger guys, but you see a Tony Johnson there in the mix who looks like he's really bringing a nice presence. Keelan Marion, his best game as a Cane. You had 8 different guys catch balls the other day. And I think it was 10 different players that touched the ball at the end of the first quarter last game. So just as an offensive skill player, how positive is that in terms of like keeping you in the mentality of, hey, I may not be getting the ball 10 times a game, but my number is going to be called.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes you stay focused, right? The way Beck's distributing the ball between all the receivers, like I knew coming in, we were wondering like maybe he'll have a favorite target or a guy, he's just gonna feed the ball to. And it just seems like he trusts all the guys, even down to Josh Moore coming in and Beck is waiting for him on the under route, taking a shot deep. And that was third and I believe 7 or 8. Like you don't convert that play, right? You're punting the ball or kicking a long field goal. So the trust that he has in all the skill guys, I mean, it's pretty exciting to see. I did not anticipate 8 guys, getting catches. I promise you I didn't, but I'll take it. If we look at last year's team, I think we really had 4 receivers,
Four receivers. Yeah.
4 guys.
I mean, there really wasn't much of a rotation.
Yeah.
Now I wonder, just knowing what I know, how many guys were, number one, ready to play.
Yeah.
And then number 2, like Cam didn't have the time to deal with guys who he wasn't here to develop guys. And that's not a knock on him. It was the best offense in the country.
Yeah.
But like that just wasn't the nature of what this offense was last year. It was so Cam driven, with still had a strong run game, but it was so Cam driven that I think that also played a factor into it. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I can agree to that. Cam definitely came in. I mean, obviously he loved the guys and stuff like that, but you can tell, he was focused on, trying to be the best version of himself. And with the guys who wanted to be the best version of themselves, he was rolling with those guys. And if you couldn't get your stuff together, it was like, hey, we still gonna roll. We're gonna have a number 1 offense. We're gonna score points. We're gonna do our thing. And if you can't get right, then it is what it is, So, but yeah, I think Beck, it seems like he's like almost having like a reset with himself, like just leaving everything at Georgia behind, just like he said, loving football again, just, being around people that care about him, who want to see him succeed, who support him fully. Who knows what was happening at Georgia behind the closed doors, right? I mean, a lot of crazy stuff happened on a collegiate level. So you never really know, but it just seems like he's actually genuinely like happy. Obviously he said he's a Florida guy, so just that lingo, that type of character, right? You're hanging around guys that are like-minded, and I mean, let's be honest, Georgia or UGA, like they got a lot of country boys out there, on their team. So just that personality standpoint, I can see where someone may feel like an outsider in a way. And I say that because, my little brother, he went to Auburn, and it was something similar where it's just a culture difference, like the type of guys on the team, like they're from Alabama, Georgia, like the back. It's just different, and when you're from Florida and you're, used to that type of chemistry,
lingo and everything, man.
Even down to how you eat, like what you eat, like all that stuff is just different up there. So salute to him for getting it together, man, and just coming down and just being locked in and just leading his team.
Let's talk about Josh Moore a little bit because, man, as someone who has had a big time success as a freshman wide receiver at Miami, you gotta think that those plays have to be such a big confidence boost for him. Shannon Dawson said yesterday, like, we saw this during spring and during the fall, but for him to do it on Saturdays, it's going to give him a big boost. Just talk about that a little bit, because I already saw people tweeting after the first 2 games, hey, we heard so much about Josh Moore. Where is he? And it's like, calm down, man. He's there, and he showed it on Saturday.
Yeah, man. I do think it's like, it's easy for people to kind of like quickly judge, like, like I know he had a few drops or whatever, or, whatever.
One of them was kind of like behind him a little bit.
And then like one against Bethune, right, where, he just misjudged.
Should have had that one, yeah.
Like, yeah, but it's kind of like, that's just football. I think people feel like guys are going to have drops, right? You're going to have, a few, bad situations or whatever the case may be. But the goal is to have a lot more great plays than bad plays. That's like the goal, So I think he's just one of those guys where we just saw like coming off slow start, but he found his rhythm. He got going early. Beck hit him on a quick under route. That touchdown, I'm telling you, that touchdown like boosts that confidence in you. Like it makes you feel like invincible. Now you're like, man, I'm ready. Like I didn't got that out the way. That monkey's off my back. I'm ready to play ball. So he goes out there again. all hands catch over the top of a guy, contested catch. I mean, it couldn't have gotten any harder of a catch. The guy was hands through the arms, trying to fight him through the, through the ground, and he held firm. Yo, Pete. Is Pete there, fellas? Are you there?
Mom.
Oh, fuck. All right.
Not sure what happened there. I'm back. Let's see if we can get Ahmmon back in here. Sorry for that, guys. But I'm back here. Let's see if we get Ahmmon back in here real quick. Not sure what happened there, guys. I apologize for that. As we were talking about Josh Moore there just a moment ago. What a game he had. Gonna get Ahmmon back in here in just a second. I'm not sure what exactly happened there. Didn't know if it was my internet. I know Ahmmon, as someone says here, sometimes he has an overheating situation there. So hopefully we get him back in here in just a second. But I apologize for that, Ahmmon. You had to captain the ship momentarily there. My next question was going to be about the defense. Very sound performance from them the other day against Byron Brown, having to tackle a guy who, quite frankly, can break a lot of tackles, has shown his physical running style time and time again. And I think only 9 missed tackles in the game. So you keep that under double digits. Very solid performance there. Corey Heatherman said yesterday their main focus defensively is angles, taking the right angles, tackling wise. He says that's been the source of the missed tackles defensively. So, I think that's something that they'll continue to clean up here. Jaden Ball for Florida, he's not someone who's very easy to tackle. So that's something I'll ask Ahmmon about here moving forward. And look, the DJ Lagway conversation, that's something I want to talk about with Ahmmon here in just a second. As I'm gonna text him here, make sure he's good. See if we get him back in here. But yeah, guys, get your questions in. Mike saying, is CJ is the real deal? Is he okay? He was back on the sidelines walking around. We got Ahmmon back in here. Ahmmon, you had to captain ship a little bit there. I don't know if that was me or you.
Yeah, I think it was probably me, man. It went to freezing. I don't know what happened.
All good, man. All good. We're back now. We were talking about Josh Moore. But I had really my last question about USF game. Yeah. And before we get on to UF here, that everyone's kind of, I know everyone's itching to get at. The defense, sound performance. I mean, just you see some of the plays that they were swarming on these critical downs. Corey Heatherman, like I was saying before you got on, he was still saying we had 9 missed tackles, got to get better there. But man, for the most part, clean performance. And it just, again, I reference the swarming to the ball because that's just seems like the biggest difference to me this year.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like the effort's there. Like the guys are confident. The angles they're taking, it's like almost like they're trying to fish like the running back into the pile, like where all the defense is coming. And that's the angles I'm seeing. We're not getting out leverage, especially in the perimeter. Like we're forcing things back inside where your help is. So shout out to Coach Heatherman. I mean, I know that's why we brought him in to fix and correct those things. And I mean, I'm very, very, very impressed on the defensive side of things. Like guy catches a 5-yard pass. We're not seeing 3-4 missed tackles and it's going for 40, 50 yards. If the first guy misses, which it almost seems like if I had to guess, because I'm not in the defensive meetings, but it almost seems like that first guy is almost coming to like take a shot. And he's taking a shot at an angle where he's forcing the guys back inside to where his help is. So it's really like a free shot because if everyone's swarming like they should be, your help is going to be there. So you can go full speed, play 100 miles per hour, and not worry about missing his tackle and giving up a 70-yard touchdown. That's kind of what it seems like, because, man, Poyser, he's flying down like full speed. Jacoby Thomas, same thing. Like, those guys are coming down. So I'm curious to see if that's like a philosophy that they're like taught, or are guys just kind of humming around that thing.
Trey Moore asking, how do you feel the cornerbacks and safeties have been playing? You just kind of mentioned some of the physicality the safeties are playing with. I mean, what do you think about the DBs as a whole right now?
Yeah, DBs are pretty solid. I think, obviously we've given up like one or two kind of like big plays like down the field, which is not abnormal. It's not unheard of.
Yeah,
right?
someone was asking about OJ. Like, should we be concerned he's been beat and a few times here one-on-one? I said, look, the Malachi Fields one week 1, that was a very tough contested catch.
Yeah.
He was in position, just didn't. It was a pretty perfect throw, and Fields is 6'4" there. And then even this one, I mean, it was a perfect throw, great catch, but seems to be pretty quiet other than that in terms of throwing his way.
Yeah, I mean, he gave up what is that, one catch, and he had 2 PBUs from what I remember from the game. Like the one early in the game, they took a shot on him. He, perfect position, looked back at the ball, played through the hands, and then later they tried to throw a slant backside. I think it was on an RPO, and he, perfect coverage, knocked it down. So I just think overall, like, teams aren't just passing and catching on us, if that makes sense. So I think it almost seems quiet out there, because I think there hasn't been any like splash, like crazy interceptions or, things like that. But I think we're in very good position. Our D-line's getting after quarterbacks. And if you look back at the game, like, that quarterback had a lot of incompletions. Some were thrown in the dirt. Some were just, guys right there stride for stride. So I wouldn't say the DBs were like, a 10 out of 10. I'd give them like 8.5 out of 10. Pretty good. You gave up a few catches here and there. Obviously, you had the busting coverage, where Damari just came down a little bit and they threw it over his head. Few times the quarterback rolled out, found a guy for like a little check down, but nothing crazy. I mean, it's been pretty great, honestly. I mean, I have no complaints, really. I would say, if I had to say one thing for OJ, is that I think his play speed at like on the deep balls, I think he has to have a little bit more like aggressiveness on those. I think he's a little too like, he's not as physical at the point of contact when the guy's actually making a catch. I think if he was a little bit more physical once the guy's attempting to catch, he'll have a lot more PBUs. But other than that, I mean, it's just sometimes a guy makes a really good play. I've been there as a receiver, right? Balls there is. Sometimes the guy just makes a better play, but that's the only thing I would critique. But other than that, I mean, the kid's been pretty outstanding. Lucas, really good.
O'Connor, as Scott says here, he's been low key really good too.
Yeah,
playing a lot.
Don't even hear from his side. Like, he's out there, and that's the thing, is like, if you're watching like the game, if you're there in person, like, you can see like all the different matchups going on. Like, the TV copy, the TV goes with the play. So sometimes you don't even see a guy over there like stride for stride, or he's breaking on a play. And O'Connor has definitely been like lights out on his end of things. Like, I don't even think he's getting targeted really the one post that Fitzgerald was going to undercut, but other than that, I mean, the kid lights out as well. So shout out to the staff, man, from the evals. We got some really good guys out there
for sure. 904 Hurricanes said our wide receivers are great, but none of them are on the level of Ahmmon Richards. I would have to agree with that, man. There's some game-changing speed there, man.
Yeah, I think our guys, man, they're just consistent, man. Like,
they're consistent. They're really good.
Them, like, every game, like, you come out, like, Malachi Tony is going to like have 4 or 5 catches.
Crazy to say that 3 games into his career, but yeah.
Yeah, it's consistent. You can just see, and he plays with the same type of speed every game so far. Like, nothing has changed from week 1, from Bethune all the way to now. Like, he plays the same way, the same style, and can't guard him. You literally can't guard him. So him, Daniel's making another crazy catch. Keelan Marion. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest. Keelan Marion should have had about 150 some yards this game. Beck missed them on the out and up early in the game. And, it happens, but Keelan, watch out for Keelan Marion, man. I
good,
said
man.
it before the show. We talked about
Yeah.
him in the kick return game. Because USF had like a 130th, special teams unit. But man, he didn't surprise me because he was making those plays in practice. But I would say he surprised like the fan base just showing like he can be a deep threat. He has good hands. He can run good routes.
I'm not surprised he's a deep threat. I'm more surprised that he's making those tough catches like that. Some of them weren't perfectly placed, taking hits, holding on. Yeah, so that's more what I've been pleasantly surprised with. But again, like he was the #1 receiver in the spring transfer portal. So like we shouldn't be that surprised either. Yeah. The reports out of BYU was that they were using him in a bigger role in the spring. Yeah. So I think you got to give Kevin Beard credit there on that. Ahmmon, something random. D Money and I were watching the Clemson Georgia Tech game this weekend, and I said Bryant Wesco, the receiver, reminds me of you, like body type and the way he was moving. I don't know if you've seen him at all.
Yeah, number 12, right?
Yeah, number 12. He had that long touchdown. I was like, that looks like Ahmmon.
Yeah. Nah, he's a slimmer guy. Like he's definitely fast. Well, yeah, when he catches the ball, you got to watch out because he seems like
he's got those long strides.
Yeah, he can go. I like his game. Even though he played for Clemson, I like his game. I give it to him.
I got one more comment here I wanted to get to before we get to UF because, and this is kind of going back to receiver, but we get this sentiment a lot, and it's a question from Figgy about Ray. Says, what's the deal with Ray? And I've seen this sentiment of, is this a political thing? Seems like something's going on that we don't know about. Is he really not that good where we can't use him? I mean, he was in the mix. I think people have to understand that the amount of depth at that position right now is, you're talking about a lot of force. Malachi Tony wasn't a 4-star, but like what he was as a recruit coming in terms of his game breaking ability. Yeah. I just think there's a lot of talent in that room, and he'll get the ball, but you see how they're spreading it around.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good problem to have. I mean, a guy like Tony Johnson, he's come in. I don't even think he dropped a pass yet on really any of his targets. So it's kind of like if guys aren't doing things to get themselves off the field, it's like you almost can't. It's just one of those things where you got to wait your time. I know early in the game they went spread. They had him in a slot, and he had a slot fade. Where it's just one-on-one run by the guy. And then he, kind of got hemmed up a little bit, and then we really didn't see him for majority of the game after that. So I think it's just one of those situations where you got Malachi Tony, who's, where he's just balling. Like the kid is good, right? Then you got Tony Johnson, who's coming in. He's being reliable as well.
But I don't understand. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I don't understand a comment like this. And raising a K850, you're my boy, but I don't agree with the sentiment. He says, sad that Tony has even passed up Ray. I think that's competition. Yeah. Tony Johnson had 48 catches last year at Cincinnati. Yeah. This is not a scrub. Like, I don't know. I get kind of annoyed when people don't put respect on it. But I don't know. You tell me if I'm wrong there, Ahmmon, but like that's the dude who had almost 50 catches last year. What are we talking about?
Man, look, I've been saying all offseason, I was like, Tony Johnson. At first, I said he was going to start, right? And I was just going off experience. Is Malachi Tony going to be ready for, game one to do all the right assignments? He proved that. But my point still stands where Tony Johnson, at the end of the day, like you said, he's played a lot of college football. Like, you don't go catch 50 passes at Cincinnati, and we can say it's Cincinnati, but let's just be honest. Like, 50 catches at really any P4 university means that you're doing something right. Like, you're a productive player.
How many Miami receivers have had 50 catches in a season the last 10 years? I really have to look at it.
Almost none.
Now, a lot of that's because a lot of times the ball spread around a lot, but like, I don't know, man. He's not a scrub at all, man. You saw him out there.
Yeah, he can play. He plays like a vet. Like, he doesn't play with like game-breaking speed, but he's running nice, good routes, good hands. We saw like the good run after the catch. Like, he's going to give you something out of that slot. And I'm telling you, like, as the season go on, like, if Tony Johnson can give us 400 or 500 yards, that's a win. That's a very, very, very productive year by a slot receiver that's literally the backup, essentially.
It was like receiver 4 or 5.
Yeah, like if he can give us 400 yards like he did at Cincinnati last year, if he can give us 400, like that's a very, very deep room right there. Very deep.
All right, let's get into UF. We've done a lot of talking here for the first 25 minutes about USF and other things, but it's Gators week, college game day in town for the Canes, not for the Gators whatsoever, obviously. But I think this is defensively. We'll get into the offense, but defensively, we can say that this is a better team than what their record shows. With the body types, with some of the speed. Caleb Banks out, so that's a blow to their defensive line, no doubt. But I think that's going to be a really nice test for this Miami offense against the Gators this weekend.
Yeah, I think how I see Florida, it's like the whole narrative or theory about like a snake, when you cut the head off, how it can still bite you, right? It can still harm you. I do think Florida is somewhat of that team where they're pretty much almost dead. But if you play around with them and you think, that they're not going to fight, like, you'll get bit. So I do think that's the mindset. I can tell. And I know the guys in the locker room and the coaches said they're locked in. So this really ain't for them, just for the fan base, because I know we've got questions like, are they going to be locked in? Are they going to be focused? Big week, game day, all that stuff. I'm just here to tell you, as someone that went through the game day experience, like, none of it really matters. Like, you're not waking up in the morning, going to the event or anything. Like, it's still your normal week of practice. You're going through all your game prep. You're watching film. It's the same weekly routine. Nothing changes besides the excitement for the fans, really, to be honest. We know who we're playing. It's Florida. We don't like them. They don't like us. At the end of the day, those are always going to be battles. So I do think we're going to be ready. And I do think we actually have something to prove. All offseason, right, we've heard the narrative of Florida's on a higher trajectory and you got recruits chirping. And so I do think all that is a little bit of a factor that just makes this rivalry a little bit more spicy this come around. Billy's obviously on his hot seat. He's going to be trying to play and coach, I should say, to the best of his ability, and try to savor, the season. Then you got Mario coming in, and these two guys coach at Alabama together. So I'm sure there's a little battle going on internally as well. But in the day, it's UF versus Florida. UF versus Miami. And I think we'll be ready. Exciting matchup. They got a talented team. I know we troll and joke about them, all the time. But in the day, they do got some guys that are going to play on Sundays for sure. You just got to take them serious. You can't, play with your food. And I just don't think we will. I think we'll see a more focused team this week than we have any prior week. A
lot of speed for them offensively. I mean, defensively too, but offensively, they've got playmakers. It hasn't shown itself yet. I mean, I think you're just looking on Twitter, the Gator fans aren't very happy with the play calling and things of that nature. But we have to have this DJ Lagway conversation, Ahmmon, because the talent is huge, right? I don't think that we can sit there and hate on the idea of his talent, right? I think there's a few things going on there. Me personally, I don't think he's 100%. I think the way he's moving is obviously not the same player we've seen in the past. From what I've heard, it's a calf thing. He has that sleeve on there. We've talked about it. He looks a little heavy to me. Maybe it's part of that. Mm-hmm. But and then it just obviously seeing the field, throwing 5 interceptions, a couple of them with clean pockets. Yeah. Not ideal. What are you seeing with Lagway in the scope of their offense? And then what sort of issues could he still present for Miami, understanding the talent he is?
Yeah. So based on what I'm seeing, I do believe that, yes, one, he's still like nicked up. 2, you can tell he has not been an active player in probably any practice or scrimmage or any live type settings. And even then, that still doesn't simulate an actual game. So what I'm seeing is that he's very slow in his reads right now. It just seems like the game is like very fast for him. And then my last thing, which I said last year toward the end of the season, and I said it to a lot of Florida fans in a lot of spaces, teams didn't have film on him last year when they played. So it was hard for defensive coordinators to like really get a sense of his tendencies and things he's not good at. And I think you had those last like 7 games or whatever it was where he was like starting playing, and then you take the bowl game at Tulane, and that's where I think it started. If you look at the Tulane bowl game and like their philosophy of like just flooding the field in coverage and making him, because he's going to be aggressive, and they're like living off that. And I think teams are kind of mimicking that, where you see LSU just giving a bunch of different looks. They're not running any crazy coverage. They're running cover 2, you know, but they're changing the picture on him at the snap of the ball, and they're making him read. And with all those missed reps in practice, and I think he's just a bit behind. And we all know football, man, like that 1 second delay, that 1 second where you're hitching in your drop or your throw can literally lead to interceptions. And that's what we're seeing, where for that 1 second he thinks is open and he's getting baited left and right. And it almost reminds me of when Tyler Van Dyke was, when teams were going that cover 2 invert, and it seemed like every team after that situation started running like cover 2, dropping the corners. And it just one of those situations where he just keeps throwing it. And I think we're seeing that now, where his confidence is like shot. He's probably on Twitter, all this NIL stuff going on, right? He's still on commercials and probably has to make social media posts and stuff, and fans are in it. I think he's just going through that phase right now. And we'll see if he can bounce back from it, or will it kind of derail his career? I don't know. But I do think he still can be dangerous at times, like the UF game, LSU game, I should say.
LSU,
sorry.
Yeah. He still made that's what Heatherman was saying. He said there were still a couple of throws there. Like, wow.
Yeah, he still like has like the talent there where, like I said, it's like a snake where he can still bite you, right? You can, he threw 5 interceptions, and he still had a few really good passes where it was very tight coverage, like perfect pass type situation. So
I think the issue with him, man, is those throws that he's missing when it's a clean, like we saw it against USF, and then a couple of those interceptions against LSU. It's like it wasn't even the pressure that has seemed like affected him. He was just off on the throw.
I don't think he's a good quarterback throwing within the hash marks. Like any in breaking routes, like slants, digs. I just like anything within 20 yards in front. Like he's very like inaccurate. But when it comes to outbreaking routes, corner routes, post, goal routes, like he's
got to really drive it.
Yes, he's an elite talent, but it just comes down to the regular like routine plays, and I wouldn't say Arch Manning, right? I think he's obviously better than Arch Manning in that aspect, but same type of issues in breaking routes, your regular routine plays. It's like they seem to struggle with those. But when it comes to those deep balls on the outside, like they're good to go. I don't know. Maybe it's like a technique thing. Maybe they need a little bit more coaching or development. But I do think Lagway's still a good quarterback. I should say good talent. He has the talent there. My last point to that is that I do think the offense is hindering his type of style of play. Very vanilla. They try to get creative here and there, but it's somewhat predictable. It's kind of one of those things where it looks flashy, but the route concepts are still basic. So we'll see. I think Heatherman's going to do a good job game planning this week. Lagway also is very good as far as extending and plays with his legs, which we saw last game where he can run, get you 5-6 yards. So I think we'll treat him similar to Byron Brown in a way, as far as like using his legs to extend plays and try to break down the defense by doing so. But I would like to see us have like 5 to 6 DBs on the field, and force him to make those bonehead throws, which I anticipate, him throwing a few picks this next game.
Ahmmon, have you been? They're asking you if you've been reached out to be the celebrity guest picker this weekend.
What is that?
for college game day?
Oh,
every
week. Listen. I'm sorry, but
Pinellas Kane says bring in Jimmy Johnson. That'd be a good one. I'm curious as to who they bring, man.
Man, I want to see I know he don't talk a lot, but it'd be cool to see like Andre Johnson or someone
Yeah.
you don't really see on TV like that, like
Yeah.
doing this type of stuff. It'd be cool to see someone like that on there.
Yeah, that's a good call because he's, such a respected,
Yeah.
player and guy in the community too. That'd be an interesting one. I feel like it's gonna be someone who's like in the city of Miami now, though. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know who it's gonna be. That should be an interesting one.
Mhm.
I want it to be a former player though. They had A-Rod last time, I think, in
Mhm.
2017.
Think so, because they went to the game and everything, him and J-Lo. So
Yeah, people are
Oh,
saying
yeah.
probably gonna be Mike Irvin. I mean, that'd be a pretty.
He's gonna crash out on there. I like it.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty safe pick, honestly, because
Yeah.
he would bring the energy. Yeah, it was A-Rod last time. So
Hey, what do you think about Lagway, Pete?
me, I liked him before the year, but it's becoming harder and harder for me to see it with him, man, because I want to blame Napier because I agree with you. I don't think the offense is really tailored to him, but like there's a lot of weapons around there, and that's what I wanted to get to next with you is like it's you can't say he doesn't have dudes around him.
Yeah.
The O-line I don't think is great, but we heard so much about the returning starters that they have. They've played together a lot.
Yeah.
I just look at last year and I wasn't that impressed with him last year. It was the same thing I'm seeing this year in terms of impressive moments, impressive throws, but consistency was not there. And that was my concerns. I didn't think Napier was a good enough play caller to get him over the hump. But the more I watch, it's like, man, you still got to be better than that.
Yeah, and just like last year, how when they went on that like winning streak, when they beat like LSU and Ole Miss and whatever, and people kept giving all the credit to Lagway, and I'm like, dude, your defense is playing lights out. Like they're creating turnovers, like they're playing really good, just like they're doing this year. Like the defense is still, I think, is a pretty good defense. The offense is the same thing as last year, where Lagway, can't really get it going. Like he's just, I won't say a game manager, but he's doing like kind of like his part, but he's really riding the wave of that defense. Like we're playing really good, and it's just this year the offense is just not scoring enough points to get it done. So it looks that way, but it's the same thing we saw last year, literally. But they kept saying it was Lagway, and that's why they're going to win the games because they got him.
It's crazy though because like you're right, because if he almost was playing like a game manager and not turning the ball over, they'd be 2-1 for sure. They would have beaten USF. I don't know that they would have beaten LSU, but even with the 5 picks, LSU only scored 23 points, right?
That's crazy, man. That's insane. 5 picks and 20 points is like insane. You give us 5. If he throws 5 picks for us, it's gonna be the game gonna be over. I promise you that one. Because I think LSU offense is a little bit overrated as well. I don't think they have a really good run game. They have a really good running back, but you see how their fans are getting on Brian Kelly about that running game. I don't think they run the ball enough and establish the line of scrimmage. So,
Ahmmon, I'm going to give you a quick break. I'm going to do a couple ads here, and we'll bring you back here to wrap the show up here at the end. All right, Canes fans. So Friday, where are we going to be? As always, on Fridays, we're doing our shows from Duffy's Tavern. It's open, man. It did not close. New management, now accepting credit cards. This is the OG West Miami. Duffy's Tavern, not just Duffy's. We're talking about Duffy's Tavern, home of the Hurricanes here. This is, as D-Money says, this is my home away from home. Love this place. Serving up coldest beers, best burgers, wings, anything you can ask for in that sports bar environment. And this is a family environment. Bring the family. It's the best place to watch games. Huge upgrades in terms of the TVs and audio systems at Duffy's here in the last few weeks. And it's legit. I'm telling you guys right now, we'll be there Friday. This is the OG, man. You walk in there, you see Craig Erickson on the wall. You see Jim Kelly on the wall. You see all the legends, Dennis Erickson on the walls. So it's where you guys want to go. Watch the Canes games. Watch all your NFL. I actually got the Sunday ticket there at Duffy's, so go check them out. And then I know you guys are going to be tailgating this weekend. So where are we going to get our meat? Lomelo's Meat Market, 9810 South Dixie Highway, about 10 minutes from campus, past Dadeland on 98th there. And you see the marbling right here, guys. You get all the Wagyu. You can also ship nationwide here. You get promo code CIS10 for 10% off. You see the skirt steak. You see the Denver, which is one of my personal favorites. But the skirt steak, to me, is where you go for the tailgating. I mean, all this stuff is phenomenal, but the skirt steak, the prime skirt, you get the Wagyu, you got the Japanese, Australian, American, you name it. You see the tomahawk there on the grill. And this is what Mario Cristobal gets for the recruits when they are in town and they grill up. This is what they get. Lomelo's Meat Market. Check out lomelos.com to get your meat. Ahmmon.
Yes, sir.
Bringing you back here. We used to play ball at our good friend Lamelo's house, man. Good times.
Yeah, Georgie. Yeah, we used to be hooping back there, man.
Yeah, man. That was when I had 1 ACL tear, not 3. So I don't play as much, but still staying active, man.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, man. The ACLs, man, they'll do it to you, man. Jeez, 3.
They'll do it to you. Same knee, man. Same knee, but I'm staying strong. So, Ahmmon, we're talking about the offensive weapons a moment ago here for Lagway, because and that's when I watch these guys, like, you get certain players the ball and you say, Jaden Ball at running back, he's almost like their version of Mark Fletcher a little bit, a bit different, but that's kind of what I see there. Trey Wilson hasn't been as prolific as I think Gator fans would have hoped, but the talent is there without a doubt. And some of these other guys, Vernell Brown has flashed early as a freshman. I'm a big fan of his. What do you see with some of these playmakers, and could they present some problems?
Yeah, I mean, they have some guys over there that can definitely make plays. Like Trey Wilson, really good player. He's very effective in the slot. And then Vernell Brown, I think that's a dude. You know, I know we got Malachi Tony. I think Vernell Brown is like that guy for them, especially when it comes to punt returns as well. It seems like he's like always like that last person just trips him up or gets him, but those first 2 people missing for sure. So they got some guys that are very explosive. They got good speed. Sturtevant on the outside is a big receiver. He hasn't really got going, obviously, so far this year, but, you know, that's a guy that has the talent to make plays on the outside. What's it? Number 11. I can't remember his name right now.
Mizell, Adam Mizell. Yeah, he's got some speed.
Yeah, some speed. You know, made a nice contested catch in the red zone last game as well. So they have some guys, right? It's not like they have just bots out there. I just think, you know, they got to get it together. Will that ever happen? Probably not. But yeah, they got talent. Lagway has weapons. You know, it's not like he's going out there and he's playing at Boston College or something and he's trying to, you know, will them to victory, right? I mean, he just has to do his part, but it just seems like he's not really doing his thing so far. And I'm curious to see how does that translate over to our game. Just the way the offense struggled last game. The quarterback is obviously in a slump. How will they respond going on the road at Hard Rock versus a rival? You know, in my opinion, I think it goes 2 ways. They're either going to come out and actually look pretty good on offense and actually, you know, make some play. Oh shit!
No, I hear you. You're frozen, but I hear you fine.
Okay, yeah, my it's freezing up on me. But
it's all good. We'll wrap you up here in the next couple minutes. But
okay.
but I hear you. I hear you good right now.
Yeah. So I mean, I would say, yeah, man, it can look 2 ways. I think they can come out and, you know, look like they actually know what they're doing on offense and have a pretty good game plan, or this is going to be a complete blowout and Napier may not make it back to Gainesville.
Yeah, I think something that's interesting to me is that you hear so much about, and I said this on the show with D yesterday, you hear so much about last year. Hey, the team didn't quit on Billy. They're not going to quit on him this year.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that team quit week 1 in Gainesville against Miami.
Yeah, they definitely did. They laid down after after that Cam Ward to Restrepo touchdown when he lasered before half. I think they laid down then, man.
So I think you got to hit him early. I think I think there's some credence. I think there is some truth to, hey, they get a scripted first touchdown early. They get an early turnover, give them some momentum, get them believing, then they can stick around in this one. But you get them down 10-14 early in the game, and it may be as Ahmmon left. Let's see, he's re-entering now.
I switched to the phone. I'm sorry.
There we go. There we go. No, we're good. We're good.
Yeah. I switched to the phone. It was tweaking, man.
A veteran move. That was pretty seamless there. But no, I mean, I don't know if you heard me there at the end, but I basically just said, look, if they can get them down by 10-14 early, mentally knock them out of the game again, then that's the ideal situation.
Yeah, I mean, if you get up early 14-0, I think it starts to get a little rocky for them. Just considering all the emotions that's going to be going on, like obviously they start out losing. They're probably thinking, coach's last game. It just guys start questioning, how the rest of the year is going to go. Is the coach going to be fired after the game? Like, guys are probably thinking about their next move, right? What is this, 4th game of the season? So maybe do I hit the portal? Like, a lot of these things are legitimate thoughts these guys are going to be thinking about if we get up early on them. And if it's 21-0, you can bet your ass the game's over. They're going to go through the motions of finish the game, but it's over with. Now, if it's 7-10 or 3-3, if someone close, then you're going to be in for a dogfight, which, I wouldn't be surprised by that. But if it goes the other way, you might as well just pack it up early. Everyone, hit the hard rock after or something. Because I don't think they would. I don't think they'll have the emotional fight to continue at that point. I think they'll be checked out.
Ahmmon, any thoughts from Texas A&M Notre Dame? That was a nice win for A&M there against Notre Dame. I kind of wanted Notre Dame to win just for strength of schedule sake. But what'd you take away from that game?
I would say Notre Dame offense looked a lot better. Obviously, I do think they relied on the running game a little bit more for sure. Prove that they're a good team. I think Texas A&M has a good team as well. So it just proves that I don't think Notre Dame is some sorry team that people were trying to say after we beat them. To be honest, they really should have won the game, but they end up losing on a 4th down throw into the end zone, right? So I think they'll still be ranked. I think they'll probably have a good shot of winning out the rest of the season. And then being possibly a contender at the end of the day. We'll see where it goes, but that's a team I think that can get better with time. There go D.
What's going on, fellas? How we doing?
Good. My computer's overheating on me, man. I
doing well. He's on his
dropping
phone.
Too much truth. The computer's overheating.
Every time it seems to be, man.
Can't handle what's coming out of the mic. But no, man. Thanks for guys for having me. I was doing an interview with Eric McLean, Taylor Tannenbaum, ACC Network. They're fired up. They're on our side.
I don't know that your mic is connected.
Oh, let's get it connected here.
Sounds like an echo, but
all right, here we go. How we sound now?
Way better. Yeah.
Yep.
There go the deep money we know.
There we go. Yeah, man. So I was with the ACC Network talking to Eric McLean, Taylor Tannenbaum. They're fired up. They're all in. They think we're going to blow these guys out. My thing is, Ahmmon, you know this from a player standpoint. We just see it from the fan side, but like you guys are going to be hearing, not you guys, but the players are going to be hearing how good they are all week, and UF's going to be hearing how sorry they are all week. That's the one dynamic that kind of scares me. We talked about that, but matchup wise, I don't know. I think we got a pretty good matchup here.
Yeah, definitely. I think we match up pretty well against them. To your point, as long as you don't feed into the outside noise, which I'm like certain, just the way Cristobal kind of like runs the team, guys going to be focused, right? They're going to limit the distraction. They're going to be talking about that all week, right? Just staying away from that rat poison. Keep it away. Don't feed into it. Just stay within, the routine, right? It's another week. We know what it means, but at the same time, like that shouldn't change how you approach practice, on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Nothing should change at all. And then when game day approaches, and when it's time to scrap up and go play in front of the lights, we show up and show out.
Well, Ahmmon, I want to ask, did Pete drop his player comp on you yet? You told him?
He said Wesco from Clemson.
Yeah, he was saying that on Saturday. What do you think about that one?
Yeah, I like it. I like the kid's game. I think he's one of those players where when he touches the ball, like the speed and just the playmaking ability always presents itself, it seems. Even if you look at his freshman year, like I think we had somewhat similar freshman years as well. So yeah, I mean, I'm not mad at that. I was on the slimmer side of things, so.
He was listed. I just looked at it. He was listed. He was listed as 6'2", 190 coming out of high school. You were a little bit slimmer than that, but
yeah.
I mean,
that's about point on. Literally.
Yeah.
I got to Miami. I was 6'2", 185.
Yeah, not far off.
Yeah,
I think that's
pretty much the same. That's crazy. Damn. Now I'm going to
I told him, dude. Yeah. I hope you like that, because I don't want to be disrespectful to it, but I saw him pulling away on a deep touchdown on Saturday, so
yeah,
can't be too bad.
That's a good one. I like that kid's game. I like his game. I don't like his number, because number 12 on the receiver kind of funky. I'm glad Malachi Tony switched to 10, because 12 on the receiver just never looks right to me. But
yeah, man. So do we talk Lagway yet?
We talked Lagway for like 15 minutes. Yeah. So
yes, that'll be interesting.
We hit most of the bases there. I was gonna let Ahmmon go right before you hopped on. So if you have anything else you wanted to ask him,
I was gonna ask. Do we talk Josh Moore?
Yeah, I was within the first.
You got this thing rolling like a finally.
I mean, I would have really made a mistake if I didn't talk about the freshman wide receiver.
You know what though? He might take some of Malachi's targets away, kind of keeping that record pristine.
I wasn't gonna mention it, man. I wasn't gonna mention it. It's like a perfect game. You don't want to.
I'm like Josh Moore, man. Come on, bro. Nah, playing. Nah, those two dudes, man. I mean, dude, our future is so bright. Like with X receiver going forward in that slot. Only question mark is obviously when JoJo comes back, right? He's a guy that has some years of eligibility. If he can get in the rhythm this season and kind of get going, like you're looking at your starting receivers next year, like they're prime ready to go. That would be nice to see.
Yeah, nice for a transfer quarterback too, or whoever's the new quarterback. If it's one of the guys on the roster right now, you step into a pretty good situation replacing Carson Beck. So, anyways, Mike, if you're about to get let go, I won't keep you. You're the man, the most requested.
I appreciate it, man. Look, go Canes, big week, Florida Gators. We gonna take them down. I like us plus 14, man. Plus 14.
Love it. Let's go.
Alrighty.
See ya.
All right, Ahmmon, appreciate you.
So, all right, man. So what's up? Do we talk Duffy's?
We talked Duffy's. We did. The only thing I haven't hit is Miami HTS, and then of course. We got finger licking this weekend as well too.
Oh, that's gonna be fun. Yeah, we'll do this. That's a night game. So get your food on at the Lickin' before you head up to game day. It's right there next to the stadium in Miami Gardens. So we'll be talking about that all week. But if you're wondering where me and Peter are gonna be on Saturday, that's where it is, the Lickin'. Yeah. So this game, I mean, just thinking about what we talked about with ACC Network and kind of what they were asking about, because that's always interesting to hear that side. I mean, they're very confident. They're very big on our running game, big on Mark Fletcher. That was a big topic of discussion, just kind of, how demoralizing it is to tackle a Mark Fletcher. I know that was something that Eric McLean and Taylor Tannenbaum were talking about, just that impact. Malachi Tony, they were there at practice when Keelan Marion caught a bomb from Carson Beck. And I wonder if we can get that going, that downfield passing game, because Beck's really going to have all day in this game. I think the big, I might go over some stuff you guys already talked about, but I'll just might as well give my thoughts. I watched a lot of UF tape. This is TV copy, and I wish I had the coaches tape. The all 22 is just TV games. Watch them against USF, watch them against LSU, and a few things stand out. Their offensive line, the stats were worse than I think they actually played. They're actually playing pretty well, at pass blocking. I think Lagway's pocket presence is probably subpar right now, along with a lot of other elements of his game. So that's hurting them a little bit. I think they're vulnerable. I don't think they, Pyburn played a lot of snaps for LSU. This is Jack Pyburn, the UF transfer, who was a rotation player for UF. Now it's like an every down starter for LSU. He played a lot, and he's not really much of a pass rusher, 1.5 sacks in his career. Obviously, we've watched him for a long time. So I don't think they've been tested from a pass rush standpoint, and LSU did get pressure. Patrick Payton played okay. He's not that good. I think with these defensive ends, you're going to see a lot more pressure on those UF tackles, and that's going to be something to keep an eye on. But what caught my eye with UF is their pass rush is really, really bad. Really, really bad. And worse than I thought. I saw the numbers and I watched the games again, and I was shocked by how bad their pass rush is. If Miami plays to its potential on the offensive line, which they got to do, I think it's going to look pretty much just like USF from a protection standpoint. One thing that caught my eye, Pete, and I want to get your thoughts on this when I watched the LSU game is, Caleb Banks, who's been projected very high, and I've kind of been like, he's inconsistent. I don't know about his character. Miami kind of dominated him. He's better than I thought. He was balling in that LSU game when he played, but then he got hurt, so he's out.
This is classic D Money. Let me tell you, he wasn't good until we found out that he's out for the game, and now he's actually good.
No, it's true. No, man, but I mean, I was honestly watching the game. I'm like, man, I've been crapping on this guy because he did nothing against Miami, but he actually was making a lot of plays. I mean, you can watch the film. He's in the backfield when he was in. He was the only, and part of the reason I was saying that is he was the only one that was making any plays. Tyreek Sapp did nothing. I don't think he really. He's like a motor guy. He's going to struggle, I think, with the power that you have with Malinois. So when you remove Banks, I just don't see anybody dynamic on their defensive line. Linebacker wise, number 5 is pretty good. I think his name's Miles Graham. Am I saying the?
I think that's him. Yeah.
Secondary average to below, in my opinion. No one special there. The guy who's playing the best in the secondary is probably Cormani McClain, number 25. To be honest with you, he's going to be motivated. I could see him trying to jump some routes, maybe get him on a double move or something, because he's going to be rock. He's going to be ready to play.
But my thing is this: why is he going to be motivated? What did Miami do to him?
You see, he's got. I don't know. You know how it is. These guys make up things.
No, I'm asking you though.
I'm sure on Twitter,
Miami did
Instagram, Miami fans have been clowning him for like 3 years.
Yeah,
so for that, he's seen that.
I guess. I think a lot of fan bases have gone at him, and I want him to do well. I don't have anything against the kid. I'm wondering what Miami did to him.
And you have different scouting reports on UF. What do you say, that the secondary is good? I mean, maybe. I thought their secondary has sucked for years. Like, they have no good players. Who do you want on that? Like, who on their secondary could start for us? I'm hearing crickets. Who on their secondary?
I didn't say it.
So I know you didn't. I know you didn't. I'm just saying, like, their secondary to me stinks. And we don't have Jeremiah Smith or anything, a receiver that's like scaring teams from a downfield perspective, but I just don't think I think that, honestly, and I said it I've been very consistent on this. UF sucks. They have sucked for 3 years. People convince themselves they're good and then are quickly reminded they suck. UF sucks. Now, all the off the field stuff's in their favor in this week. I think Lagway is going to play a really good game because he's going to be too motivated. His career's on the line. So that is what I get concerned about. But if you're talking about their team, I think their team is garbage. Ba is an okay running back. He can hurt you if you're not doing what you need to do, but he's not Jeremiah Love. He brings nothing dynamic to the table. Their backups are bad. Vernell Brown, excellent. One of the best freshmen in the country. I wish he was a Cane. Everybody else, a receiver, average to below. Offensive line, extraordinarily overrated. Austin Barber's pretty good. We'll see how he deals with the power of Miami's defensive ends. I think that's going to be a much different challenge than LSU, which couldn't really rush the passer, didn't have good players up front. Linebackers, I think 5 is good, but he's not, Ray Lewis. Secondary average to below.
I think when you talk about Florida's D-line, though, I think you should give some credit to their run defense. It's top 25 in the country right now. I think you're talking about the pass rush, which has been underwhelming, but the run defense in terms of yards per game.
Well, I'm pulling up yards per attempt against, which I think is the best stat because, sometimes the game, like you won't rush for a lot of yards because you're throwing it, right? So sometimes the game dictates what you do. They're 84th in the country in yards per rush against, 4.5. Miami Hurricanes, 12th. And we played Notre Dame and USF, who outrushed Florida or equally outperformed them in the running game. I think it was like the same yards and a little more yards per carry. So, again, I think there's a very bad opponent that's going to be motivated to play us. So it's a bad environment, bad opponent. Bad environment for us just because of all the game day and everybody's going to tell us how great we are all week. Lagway's going to be motivated, all that kind of stuff. But, Napier's coaching for his career, so they're going to be going for a fourth down. They're going to be doing all that kind of crazy stuff. Like, I hate all that stuff. That's upset stuff. We've been watching college football long enough to know that's where trouble starts. But I think UF as a team sucks and has sucked for a while. So if Miami can play their game, protect the way they're capable of protecting, protect the ball the way they're capable of protecting the ball, Beck's got to eliminate one of those bad decisions that he's been making every game. Or otherwise, he's been incredible making decisions and throwing the ball. We got to run with power like we've done to everybody. We got to run to the ball and tackle. They do a lot of short passes. And I think that's another thing I noticed. And I think part of it, without knowing that, watching the coach's tape, it's hard to know. But I don't know if teams are just daring Lagway basically to drive down the field and taking away his deep chunk plays because he has that arm. Remember, he did that last year. He was so good. Like when he did complete it, it was like way down the field. He had a low completion percentage, very high average. Let me pull up his stats because this could be interesting, kind of comparing it year to year. So looking at Lagway stats as I pull him up here. So last year he averaged 10 yards per attempt, and his completion percentage was below 60%, 59%. This year his completion percentage is 71%. But he's only averaging 6.3 yards per attempt, 10 to 6.3. I know it's a small sample, but still, that's 4 yards. And his completion percentage is 11 points better. So he's completing the ball more often, but he's not going downfield as much. And I think with Lagway, you want him to do the short passes because he'll miss a couple because he's inaccurate with that. And what makes him dangerous is he has such a great arm and he can throw it downfield. So I think if you take away the deep ball, which is what USF and LSU did, let him dump it off to Ba. Run to the ball, tackle.
Ball's legit.
Legit how?
I watch the games and I see.
I'm saying good. like legit meaning like legit.
Like he would play at Miami. He would play at Miami. He's good enough to play at Miami and be in the backfield right now. And don't ask me who he'd play over. He would play over someone. He's damn good.
He would compete with Marty Brown for the third running back. I would agree with that. He is not as good as Fletcher. We'll see on Lyle. I think Lyle's way better than him. He's definitely not as good as Jeremiah Love.
On this offensive line, though, I don't know, man. Ball's good.
He's good. Solid. He doesn't suck. Ball does not suck. But you would say Ball's dynamic. Like, is Ball scary? Or are you waking up at night like, oh my God, Ball?
I think Ball could have a good game against us. Yeah, I think he could have a good game against us. Yeah,
he could if we're not on point. I mean, we gave up a long run last year. So
yeah, he does scare me.
Johnson, who
so yeah, he does scare me. To answer, keeping me up at night is a whole nother thing, but. Yeah, he worries me. If you talk about guys who can cause, like, if we're gonna really break down the game here, he's a good player, man. Let's not.
He's solid.
Let's not down like.
No, he's solid. I'm not saying he's
what
not
certain dudes on this team are like.
He's not bad. He's not a weakness, but he's not Jeremiah Love, is what I'm saying. He's not like a guy that's like, wow, we got to worry about this guy. This guy's is a stud. He's not a stud. He's a solid player. He'll get the yards.
He worries me more than Love. Seeing what I've seen now, he worries me more than Love. Like seeing what I've seen now, because of the running style. Love is trying to jump over you, man. It's crazy.
Love's a stud though, man. You saw against that late run against. I mean, I think Love is like, I never was the one saying that Love was overrated or anything like that. Like he's good.
I think they should have handed him the ball more in our game, but.
And look, to Ba's credit, I think they should have handed the ball more to Ba in all his games. Right? They're not doing that enough.
Yeah, I agree. But that's kind of my overriding thought watching these games. Is damn, Ba's good. Get him the ball more. Is my whole point for going on this little tangent here. But yes,
Bagging Up says he's more dynamic than Fletcher as far as big play potential. Why? Why is he? I'm looking at his yards per carry or his long run. His long run this season, 26 yards against Long Island, which is a law firm. 15-yard long run against USF, 13 long run against LSU. Last year, I mean, more of the same. He had 1 long run against LSU. Other than that, he didn't do much. I mean, he's fine, but he's not anything particularly scary. If we play, look, Montreal Johnson sucks. I said he sucked last year. I was told he was some sort of great player. He had 1 big run against us because our defense was bad, and we let him do it. But so we can, like, he can make plays against us if we're off. If we're on, he's nothing to be worried about. He's average SEC back. That's what I would characterize him as, an average starting SEC back, which is better than the average back in the country. But I mean, where would he rank amongst SEC backs? I'm taking the guy at Missouri over him in 2 seconds. I'm taking the guy at Georgia over him. I'm taking both guys at Texas over him. Texas A&M, probably the same. Who else? Maybe the SEC doesn't have a good back. Backing up so that I get no credit to any non-Cane. Hold on a second. First of all, I was hyping Lagway, who sucks, so I should have been even worse on UF than I was. But I'm not gonna be giving credit to players who are average just because someone on Twitter talks about him. Ba is a solid player. He's better
than solid. Stop that, D.
Do you think he played over Fletcher?
I think it's closer than you think. I think it's
what does he do? What one thing does he do even close to Fletcher?
D, put them behind the same offensive line. Like I'm not saying he's better, but like you're making it seem like there's a huge gap, and it is not that. It is not that. Like, and I don't want to get into this thing, but I think it's closer than you really think. Like, brother, you put him behind the same O-line that you're the one who says he's running behind an awful offensive line. And he's averaging 6.6 yards a carry this year.
Like 11.6 against Long Island.
Okay, 5.2 versus USF. 4.6 against LSU.
What did Fletcher do to USF?
Oh, he had he had a great game, but Ball still had 93 yards.
What did Jordan Lyle do to USF? Longest run in Miami history.
Yes, at the end of the game, in a completely different situation in the flow of a game.
These guys are average. I've never bought the hype on UF.
This is not an average running
I'm not going to start buying them now when they've proven to suck. Okay, same as last year. Last year I said they were garbage.
My thing is you just calling out this specific player as a solid average back when it's
average SEC back. Average SEC back.
Okay, that's which is
solid.
Not an average back.
No, not average like in the country.
And I agree with this on bagging up. I agree with this on bagging up. If there was a combine today, he would test better than all our backs. But again,
he would be competing to be our third back. He's not fast. He'd be competing to be our third back.
If Jaden Baugh transferred to Miami tomorrow, you'd be saying some crazy thing. I don't think that's what you'd be saying.
I'd say, look, we got some depth here. We got some depth here with Baugh. So, anyways, he's fine. He could hurt us if we're not ready. That's UF. That's the thing I say about UF. If we don't show up, they have players that can hurt us. The players that are actually good.
Does it sound like you think their guys are very good?
I'll tell you who's actually good. Lagway, when he's on, is actually good, but he's been off way more than he's on. But he has obviously talent with his arm. He's got probably the strongest arm in the country. Vernell Brown is great. Great. I wish we had.
Hold on a second. The Angry Ape says, here we go, Pete, with the Canes aren't good crap. Everyone's better than Miami players. Don't make no sense. I literally just said I still think Fletcher is better, but I'm just trying to be D says there's a big gap. I don't think there's that big of a gap. I said Miami would go 11-1 this year. I think the Canes are a very good team, borderline great team. I might change it to 12-0. This stuff is crazy. I'm not just going to come on here, though, and say Miami has the best players every position in the country.
I didn't say that.
The difference.
Did I say that?
Yeah, but that's what
Jeremiah.
No, not you. I'm saying this perception that me just saying that the Canes, that Jaden Baugh is a really good player, that has nothing to do with the Canes. Gerard Pringle is much better than Baugh, is what the comment is. There's no one who's hyped up Gerard Pringle more than me.
Once he pops, the fun don't stop.
I have hyped up Gerard Pringle more than you have, which is crazy.
Once he pops, the fun don't stop.
Once he popped, the fun don't stop. So it's not a comparison thing. I'm just saying Jaden Paul is a really good player.
He's solid average. But no, look, when the guys are good, I hype up. Jeremiah Love, I hyped. You never heard me crapping on Jeremiah Love ever. I was like, man, I was up at night worried about him breaking a 70-yarder. It didn't happen because our run defense was outstanding, but he could. You know,
I love Pringle, but we've seen him in two games in garbage duty right now. Like, we can't compare him to Jaden Paul yet. They're completely different players. Like, stop it.
We hyped Tyler Shuck before we played him. We said he's better than the media said. And I think that was very much accurate considering he was a second-round pick and no one was talking about him. We hyped Fernando Mendoza before we played him, saying he was better than the media said. I think that was proven out. Like, we hype players that are good, and I call out players when they're average or whatever, a nondescript, overhyped. And I think UF happens to have a huge collection of those players, which is why they're 1-2 and their coach is getting fired and their fans are selling their tickets to Miami fans. Now, with all that said, they can beat us because it's college football, and if we're not ready to play, they have enough to beat us. But if we play well, I think it should be a 2-touchdown victory. But there's no guarantee that happens. They're college kids.
Agreed.
So, anyways, who else do they have on their team? Vernell Brown's good. Caleb Banks, who I was doubtful on, now he's injured, but I was impressed with him against LSU. I wasn't expecting because I knew he was hurt. So I'm like, man, this guy's making a lot of plays even though he's hurt, and no one else did. Graham, number 5, is good. I like him. Everybody else, Austin Barber is a solid offensive tackle. I don't think he would start at Miami. He'd probably be our, competing with like Pancake. But he's solid. Slaughter is fine. I think he's kind of like more of a PFF darling, but I got to watch him a little closer. Other than that, their kicker sucks. Their coaching sucks. Their uniforms, their helmet is the worst in college football. That stupid cursive. It looks like a 1970s yearbook. Like, it's the most corny, just out-of-date helmet in the sport. Their chants are like, I don't even know, like 2 bits, 1 bits, 3 bits of dollars. If you're for the Gator, stand up and holler. That should be banned. They're just a garbage program, and it's being shown quite clearly right now. And I think the order of the state is where it needs to be. So we just got to take care of our business. Worry about our helmet, the names on our jersey, play our football. And if we play our brand of football, this is going to be light work. If we don't, we got a problem.
Roger Allen says, Pete is overhyping an opponent every week. I picked Miami to win. I picked Miami to cover the spread last week.
You did.
I picked us to win every week. What are you guys talking about? Like, I feel like people sometimes listen to an alternate version of the show. I have no idea where that comes from, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, but all right, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I know they're going to clip this up if Ba has like a 50-yard run against us, but if he has a 50-yard run against us, that means like 7 guys crash into each other and tripped, which could happen. That kind of stuff happened to us last year, so we got to be strong.
Very disrespectful, man.
Good question from Sergio. Would you still take Lagway over CJ Bailey in the portal? No, I wouldn't. What about you? That was a good discussion a couple of weeks ago.
No, I was telling Ahmmon that my confidence has faded big time on Lagway, even though I don't think he's healthy, and I know Napier is not helping him at all. But my confidence is still fading on him for sure. I think I'd take Bailey.
Yeah, Bailey's kind of on the up and he's on the down. I will say about Lagway, he does look a little beat up, like in terms of when he runs, he is not dangerous whatsoever. Like, he just falls down at first contact, which he's 250 pounds. He should be running guys over, which tells me he's probably hurt. That would be that's what I'm seeing. Not exactly rocket science, but like, I really didn't, until I really sat down and watched full games, I didn't appreciate how ineffective he is as a runner right now relative to what we kind of expected of him based on what we'd seen before.
Yeah, which was what we've said outside of the injury. He shouldn't be 250.
Yeah. He's got to get Ruben Bain and Messidor chef. We got to give that guy a championship ring if we can get it done this year. The chef. Those guys are
listen, I know they're eating at Pop Subs a lot. They get the salad. I know this for a fact. I've been at Pop Subs, and he gets the salad sub. No bread.
No bread?
No bread. It's a salad. It's a salad. You get the salad. It's a sub, but you get it in like a bowl.
Wow! Shout out to Rubani's. I mean, because I get the veggie sub, but I still have bread on it.
Yeah.
I'm looking. We're gonna do a show in studio with Mike tomorrow. That's looking dicey right now. We might have to do a Zoom show, which I'm worried about because we usually get the subs delivered there. You think he'll deliver the subs to Miami Beach from Kendall?
I might have to pick him up on the way. I don't know. That's the thing. If we do it over there, then maybe I have to pick it up on the way.
You should come over like the old days. Remember, you just pull up at my house. We just pull up a mic and then do it that way.
I also didn't have a home studio or my own setup here.
We didn't even record it. I remember one time we did it. I was living in like by Lincoln Road because my house was getting renovated, and we had to do it outside because my baby was sleeping. Who's now Sammy? She's like, man, how old is she now? She's like 2018, so she's like 7. But she was like just born, and you came over and we did the podcast outside, and there were like crickets and like bugs, like you'd hear them on the show. Do you remember that? It was like you listen to the audio.
And that was your replacement house, right?
Yeah, that was right by like where the yard house is now on Lincoln Road.
26 says Lagway is only 20 pounds short of being one of our DTs.
Yeah, that house, man. Now I'm thinking about it. It was right as Lincoln Road. It's like an expensive neighborhood. We were renting it, and like there was like an insane asylum across the street. Like, why'd they put an insane asylum right in the residential neighborhood? So you like, it's like these are expensive homes. This looked like this Miami Beach. And they were like, it was an insane asylum right across the street from the house. I remember kind of. And
then when we were recording, when we started recording, it was another insane asylum, like across the street from each other.
That's right. That's right. Trey Moore says you guys should post a throwback episode. I definitely will not do that because we're probably hyping up the worst players of all time and the worst teams of all time.
Horrible.
Let's see what's going on. I got Night King. Night King, man. When you hear Night King talk, that's the guy you should listen to because he's been at practice just as much as me. He says, D-Money, what's good? They'll punish UF. Fletcher will go for $150 or better, 3 touchdowns. Last year, he only got 2. Time to go up from there. I hope so, man. They're going to be flying around. They're going to be playing emotional. So it's not like I don't see this. I'll say this. Okay, so I've been crapping on UF. I don't think they're going to quit. I don't think that they're going to be one of these teams that the coach is a lame duck and they quit. I think it'll be they had last year where everybody gave up on them and they had a run towards the end of the year and they won some games they weren't supposed to win. So I think that experience is going to stick with them and they're going to be like, all right, well, listen, this is just like last year. They quit on us. We have 1 loss in the SEC. All our goals are ahead of us. Let's go win the SEC. I think that will probably be their attitude more than like, an Al Golden, Dabo Sweeney team quitting in the middle of the game. Maybe that happens down the road here because they got the hardest schedule in history coming up for the next 6 or so games. But, I think in this game, they will compete. So we got to play ball. A question from John Z about when that McLean episode is coming out. Today's Wednesday morning. So tomorrow morning, that episode will be it'll be with on the podcast. So the Gramlich and McLean podcast. Taylor Tannenbaum was guest hosting. So that'll be tomorrow morning, which should be fun. Tagging up. What kind of zoning is in Miami? I don't know. We got to talk. Miami Beach. We got 2 mayors that are CanesInSight podcast listeners. Shout out to Mayor Lago and Coral Gables. Shout out to Mayor Suarez in the city of Miami. Both loyal CanesInSight followers, listeners, etc. But Miami Beach, my guy Meisner. I don't know if he's a listener. So we got to get him on board so I can actually get stuff done. I know you got one call to make when you need to get something done in Coral Gables where you live. You could just DM him because he's responding to our post about Josh Moore and stuff. All you gotta do is just hit him up and say, hey, we got a problem with traffic lights over here. Gotta get that. We gotta expand our mayoral reach a little bit. And Doral, or is he not there anymore? Your boy from Doral,
JC Bermuda is the GOAT. I don't know if he's still in that role, but he's a well-connected man. One of our listeners.
Brandon asking, forgot to ask how'd E-Money pitch on Saturday. Yeah, I was watching on the Game Changer app. while we were doing the licking. He was pitching good. I mean, he had 2 strikeouts first inning. Second inning, he had a couple walks, but he was rolling. Got pulled early, and after that, the game got away from us. We lost like 11-5. So, you know, my wife was out there questioning decisions. It's like now we're pitcher parents, so it's a different level of stress. So she was out there sending me text, complaining. It's a different level of of intensity when your son's pitching. Trey Moore, does he have a curveball? No, he's 11, so we're holding off on the curveball. Pump that fastball. Throw strikes. Strike throwing lefty. That's the profile we're trying to get here in 11U. Pete, before we get to Miami Hurricane Teams, we'll get you out of here. Guest picker, who do you like?
I think it's gonna be Irvin.
All right, I mean that's easy. He's at every game. They don't want to go outside the box at all.
I'm not down for your other suggestion. That would make zero sense to me. But I think it's gonna be Irvin.
I mean, my real suggestion, I think it would be Danny Ramirez. Danny Ramirez, Hollywood actor, continuing to rise. Hardcore Cane fan. This guy's texting me about backup defensive tackle options in the portal. So this guy is like the most intense Canes fan, most intense college football fan they probably would ever have on that picker thing. And he's A-list. He's dating Jessica Alba. My guy's starring in all kinds of shows and movies. And Top Gun. It's a no-brainer. But he has not confirmed or denied. So we'll see.
It's probably going to be him then.
26 said Earl Barrios would be huge for social media. I don't think she should be the guest picker. I think that's who we were talking about, Rex. Did I tell you that?
Well, you said it on air the other day.
Oh, I did? Yeah, I think it'd be more for she should be involved. Have her give a tour of Miami, of University of Miami, do a little basically she'll do whatever her Instagram kind of personality stuff is. I'm not on Instagram, so I don't know, but just kind of do a little reel walking around Miami, showing everybody the parrots and the lake and all the other stuff. That's what I'm thinking.
If you say so.
Pinellas is saying, go get Sylvester Stallone, the Tulsa King. I want to give a shout out to another Cane who he won't be there because he doesn't work for Game Day anymore. He now works for Big Noon Sunday, but Bear Felica, his acting.
Big Noon Saturday.
I'm sorry, Big Noon Saturday. His acting on that show was unbelievable with that. They did that kitchen, the show, The Bear, with him as the bear in the kitchen. His acting was unbelievable. I told him he's the 3rd best Italian thespian to come out of UM behind Stallone and Ray Liotta, the late Ray Liotta. So, anyways, it'll be fun. Can we do a show from campus for game day? Oh, no, we're at the Lickin'.
We'll be at the Lickin'. Well, but if you want to do something in the morning, maybe we could do it with College Game Day behind us. Who's going to stop us? Yeah, that's the Inception stream.
I love it. The Inception stream. Great. By the way, great event on last Sunday. Mark Fletcher, Gerard Pringle at the Miami Hurricane team store, repping the Canes, signing autographs, meeting people. It was a great event. But the Cane team store rolls on. Promo code INSIGHT20. You get 20% off your first item. That's in store right next to the University of Miami or online, miamihcs.com. So no matter where you are at, you can shop at the Miami Hurricane team store. Just use promo code INSIGHT20. There's that Mark Fletcher jersey. Officially signed memorabilia going on. What's his rep the Hurricanes? Let's see. There you go. You got some stuff. You got the CJ Daniels cat shirt. You got some old school Ibis. Would love to put a pipe on that, but they can't do that. Look at this. You got the jerseys, the polos, you name it, flow grown. They'll get you ready for game day. Love this Fletcher jersey. These will be selling after he runs for 3 touchdowns, like Night King said. So, he's saying Pitbull's been confirmed as guest picker. Did that come out?
That's got to be a complete joke. He's the stadium at FIU is named after him. I'd be shocked if they have him as the guest picker.
Yeah, I know he is a Canes fan. I remember watching. I was at Kimbo Slice, RIP, was fighting Tank Abbott at was now the SCO. I forgot what it was back then. Were you there, Pete? It was before your time?
But that was I was young then. I wasn't really following MMA closely. I was not there, but that was the Convocation Center. Or the Bank United Center, maybe. Probably the Convocation Center still at that point.
Yeah, I forgot what it was. But he walked out wearing a Sean Taylor throwback jersey. This is back in the day where they weren't selling as much. So, he seems to be at least somewhat of a Canes fan. But, yeah, I agree. The stadium of FIU is named after him. We need someone all UM who will he'll cheer for FIU if Miami played FIU. So, Excuse me. We need someone pure Miami for that role.
Agreed.
All right, man. I got to roll. Like and subscribe. Go Canes.
Go Canes.